I believe this might just be one of the best knee braces on the market for snowboard and ski athletes, and I'm about to break it down. Tune in. So I have a story to tell you about how I fell upon this company. But before I do, my name is Mark. I am a doctor of physical therapy and a snowboard instructor at Mount Bachelor, along with my wife Sarah, who is a licensed massage therapist, yoga instructor, health teacher, all that great stuff. And we do all of this for snowboarders because we love it. We love to educate. We want to keep you riding until you are 70 plus years old. Boom, that was so good. Okay, back to the story. So we answer all of our DMs on Instagram, and I got a DM like this, basically asking me about this company. Now you have to understand, as a physio or physical therapist, I've seen dozens of rehab-based items, knee supports, ankle supports, elbow supports, all of the above. When this person was telling me about this company, I did a little research myself. To be honest, I have zero affiliation with this company still, but I'm always curious to see different products, what they have to present, and how they are presenting it. I also want to say that I have no current knee injuries, nor have I had a major knee injury in the past. Most recently, I was recovering from some patellar inflammation that took a couple of months to alleviate, but other than that, I don't have any fear-based injuries. Anyways, as I was researching this company, I was a bit skeptical, as many people probably are. So I sent them a message. To my surprise, they responded promptly and said they would send me a free pair for me to try out. Awesome. In addition, they also gave me the contact of someone in the company to have an interview with, to talk to ask questions about the technology. Great. So I received a free knee brace. They also sent me some merino wool socks, and I have no bias. So here is my breakdown. As a physio, I have also stood by the fact that knee braces in general are essentially a band-aid. I want to find the root, the issue, the cause of the discomfort, of the pain, build on that, use the knee brace while you have to, but eventually I want you to wean off of it. In some cases, there's fear behind it. If it allows the athlete to return sooner, absolutely use the knee brace for as long as you can, but eventually I want to see you wean off of it. So eventually I received the package in a couple of weeks, and I was actually pleasantly surprised. Here's the video. Right, so in the box we have nice nifty packaging based out of Vancouver, BC. And then I got the mediums supportive tights to get you back to what you love. Designed in Vancouver, BC, and I believe they send it out of California. Let's open her up. Nice. Beautiful packaging. So it comes with this neat, nifty little bag. Comes with instructions. Initially, just upon holding this, there's some weight behind this. If you liked this video, please like and subscribe. I definitely did my homework with this. It helps support the channel, gives me motivation to continue putting out incredible content like this. Thank you very much. After this, I set up my meeting with someone within the company that talks to medical professionals like myself, and we had an incredible meeting. She answered all of my questions, and that's what I'm gonna break down for you today.
Honestly, if it's to answer any of your questions, I can kind of go over the ones that you mentioned in your email first, and we can kind of chat through anything else that maybe came up when you were searching around.
Yeah, let's do it. So right before the interview, I decided to do a little bit of my own homework and browse through the site to answer some of my questions. And to my surprise, a lot of the questions were answered. Their website is very thorough. It answered maybe 90% of my questions that I had. And I will continually refer back to that in this video. So my first question was, can you explain to me a little bit about the company and the science behind the supportive tights? What she said was Stoko is based out of BC. It was designed in British Columbia over a period of 4 years. It is made in China and shipped out of California. Within the tights themselves, they hide 90 feet of a fibrous material called Dyneema. Further, she stated that Dyneema is 15 times stronger than steel based on the same amount of length and weight, and is light enough to float on water. That is pretty cool. It is a registered medical device in Canada and I believe the United States. I do not know the process of how you go about getting that label. Could be easy, could be challenging. I just don't know. Next, the system is patented. All right, so they went through the process of patenting, patenting, is that how you say it? Patenting the whole product itself, the way the cables run throughout the tights, the support system, the way you tighten it, and I'll show you that in just a second. Lastly, the cables are strategically placed throughout the entire compression leg system. They are supposed to mirror and mask the ligaments as well as the tendons and muscles surrounding the leg. Okay, so I have the tights here. Obviously, I have a medium. I am 5'9", I'm about 170 pounds. I have about a 31-inch waist. So I tend to have pretty big legs, tiny waist, and then am built like an ant. Picture that. So essentially in the back, you have these two knobs, kind of like the boot system, the BOA system. You can push them down. She did state you want to tighten them at the same time. And then when you loosen them, you pull them away, and then it loosens the fibers throughout the entire system. So as you can tell, you can kind of see those fibers there. Let's do that right there. And it runs along underneath throughout the entirety of the leg. So there's the side, you can see it. That's like the TFL all along there. And then most importantly, this is where the knee sits. So if you can see that, right there, then my patella would sit right there, and these go along mirroring your MCL, ACL, or MCL, LCL, the quad tendon above, and then these go on the outside of your shin. That would be more of your tibia, but that's kind of your fibularis, and then crosses over surrounding on top of your ankle. In the back, similarly, I don't know if you can see that, but it kind of has your hamstring layout as well as that supportive brace in the back. Now, what happens is when I go to tighten these, like so, let's say I want to tighten them, they'll be wearing them at the time, tighten, tighten, tighten. The idea is these Dynex fibers will tighten first around the waist. That's sitting kind of high on the waist, and then it pulls along the entirety of the tights. All right, so if you can imagine someone wrapped you in these super strong fibers originally around your waist. It goes down following the muscle and ligamental patterns of the leg. You tighten them in the back, it'll tighten first at the waist, and then it'll start to tighten around the leg. So it's providing that support 360 degrees around the leg, so the hips, the knees, and the ankles, and also the low back. She did mention that a lot of customers mentioned that it does provide some great support for the low back system. So funny enough, I did mention how challenging these were to get on originally. The website talks about it. The original packaging actually has a whole thing on how to get them on, how to break them in, because it is no joke. If anyone has surfed or spent time in a wetsuit, it's kind of like that, but harder. Yeah, think about that. She did mention after various uses, this should get easier. One thing I want to note is I talked about how I felt a lot of that tightening around my waist initially, and less so in the leg itself. She said that would change as the tights would loosen a little bit. But for those who are just breaking it in, you'll probably feel it mostly around the waist and less around the leg. Eventually over time, that should get better. Warranty-wise, there is a 1-year warranty on this. I asked about current and past customers, how often this breaks down. She said they have great results with these customers. There's high customer satisfaction. It is machine washable. And yeah, there's not a lot of turnover with these, which is always a great sign. Obviously, I'm talking to the company, so there's probably bias there. They're not gonna tell me that thousands of people are sending them back, but she seemed genuine in that response. Next, there are surprisingly scientific studies done on their webpage. You can see them here. And I kind of read through them. I went through them pretty thoroughly. I actually asked her about them, mostly because many of these studies are in-house done in the company. So when I see that, for me, that's an initial yellow flag, just because in general, not just with this company, but with many companies, a study that is not randomized, that is not blinded, that is not done by a third party, or those who are unbiased, will generally find the results they're looking for. And I'm not going to, that's all I'll say about that. They have good results in regards to support, user use, pain. There were a couple of studies that utilized responses from personal purchases, and they had great results, again, in support, around the joints, in pain and things like that. But I just will say, I have yet to see other companies that have done anything like this, have gone out of their way to perform scientific studies to support their product. And this is a first for me. So for me, that is an A+. If you're curious, check it out yourself. So lastly is the cost. Cost is no joke, and that's probably the biggest hurdle for me amongst others. I did ask her about this, and basically she could just say that's kind of the demographic they're going for. There's the cost of materials, all of the 4 years of research and studies that went into creating this product. It is a good product. It is great quality. I can assure you on that. I've taken it through the ringer, and I'm only taken it up twice, but I've pulled it every which way. I've yanked on it. I've examined the stitching. It is good quality, but if you're comparing it to a knee brace that maybe is $10, $15, $80 max, it is a huge jump. So keep that in mind. That is probably the biggest hurdle with this product itself, but really truly the only way to know is to try it yourself. So I tested it out on 2 days. First day was backcountry. Took me about 2 hours, uphill, downhill, just doing my thing on a split board. As you can imagine, it was about 13 inches of fresh snow. Visibility was okay, very, very windy. I was with a couple of friends. Second day was on resort. I only had about 3 runs there just because it was so crazy. Again, overcast, pretty hard packed groomer day. Here is some footage. All right, so the nitty gritty, everything you've been waiting for. What are the pros of the Stoko compression pant? To be honest, I have yet to see anything like this. One of the biggest complaints that myself as an athlete, as clients and patients have, is sliding of the brace. So what does that mean? I'm using it, I'm halfway down the run, and the brace is now around my calf or my ankle because it slid down. It's doing nothing to support. All right, so that is a huge factor. This is not moving, this is not going anywhere. If anything, it's harder to get on, and I'll talk about that in just a second. This video is sponsored by Element. Yes, LMNT. We love it, we use it every day. We don't use many supplements, we don't use a lot of products in general, but we love Element, and we continue to support and we continue to promote it. Use this link for a free sample pack. Yes, you do need to buy a box yourself, but we promise you will love it. And especially in season for snowboarding, skiing, now is the time to stay hydrated. Check it out. Secondly, support. The support is there. There is no denying the support around my knees, my joints, not just my knee, but I felt it around my hips, around my waist, around my ankle. Those fibers are the real deal, and truly I felt the support. Again, I don't necessarily need it myself, but for those who do and maybe have that fear-based factor behind getting back into snowboarding or skiing, that is huge and worth its weight in gold, to be honest. Next is the dual factor. I've seen a lot of people wear them without shorts, so you can do that if you want, but essentially these are kind of compression-based tights, so kind of a base layer for skiing and snowboarding. You don't need to wear that anymore, as well as a combination knee, hip, low back brace. So it's pretty cool. Lastly is quality. I already talked about that, but these are quality-based, is a quality-based knee brace or tight. And I do feel like it will last a while. Obviously I can't say for certain because I need to use it over a period of time, but I was impressed with the aesthetics, the packaging, and then lastly the support. So they didn't hesitate to send me a free pair. Thank you very much, that's awesome. They didn't hesitate to have me interview with one of their directors, employees in charge of medical professionals and partnerships and things like that. Yeah, answered all of my questions thoroughly, referred me to places that if they didn't have the answer, so the support is there. So yeah, I was very impressed. These things are freaking hard to get on initially. Not even the first time, the second time, and the third time. For those of you who have a current injury, maybe have low back discomfort, cannot bend over in certain ways, these are going to be very challenging to get on. I can promise you that. Well, it is an art, to be honest, but it's worth it. So keep that in mind if you are going to dive into these. They are, man, they're tough. Next is cost. Again, already talked about this, but the cost is no joke. Something to consider for those of you that can afford it. Fantastic, do it. For those of you who, I don't know, it's just expensive, to be honest. So keep that in mind. Again, it's worth it. If it allows you to do what you love confidently, it's always worth it. So that is my only con with this. There's always sales, so check it out. Okay, so who is this for? I've talked about everything about it, broken it down, but to be honest, who is Stoko for? Ideally, Stoko is for anyone. But realistically, with the cost and the type of injuries that you may be dealing with, I would say is for mid to late stage rehab who are just getting back into the snowboard skiing realm, who maybe aren't back to 100%. This could also be for the person who has a previous history of injuries, doesn't feel fully confident yet going 100% on the snow, and wants some sort of support system. Maybe they are still unstable around the knee from past injuries. Maybe they're conservatively treating an ACL tear, so they need some sort of support there to continue doing what they love. For those of you who are wearing giant, clunky, metal-based braces around the knee, this might take some getting used to, based on their statement that it's stronger, as strong, or 10 times stronger than steel. That's a huge, bold statement, let alone aluminum bars on the side, on the lateral and medial side of a knee brace. So keep that in mind. It really will take those to try it. I guarantee they have I'm not guaranteeing that, but I'm sure they have a good return policy. If it does not work for you, you can check that out. They have a great warranty, so it's worth trying. And it's for those who have maybe a bigger budget or have budgeted for a more expensive based brace, to continue again doing what they love. So in conclusion, I hope that was helpful. I really did my homework with trying to find the best brace for athletes. I will continue to support this company, Stoko. I will continue to recommend it to anyone who asks. We get questions all the time because this is an amazing product. I would love for you to try it out. They have my support. Again, I have zero affiliation with Stoko or this brace. They were just gracious enough to send it, and I've used dozens of knee braces before. So take it or leave it. That's my opinion. Thank you so much for joining me today. I appreciate all of the support, and I will see you all next time.